What's up, YouTube? Doomlake here. We are back with another modern video. Apologize for the lack of content over the past couple of days. I actually just got a new PC, so there's some issues with the old one, so I haven't been able to do a ton of content over the past week or so. I did a couple of streams, which you can go check out the live stream, twitch.tv/Doomlake. I'm going to pop a link in the description below if you want to check that out. But yeah, that's kind of why I haven't been doing a lot of content, but PC's here, and it's better than the last one, let me tell you. So hopefully going to be able to get some more content out for all of you over the next the next couple weeks or so. But I wanted to give you guys a video today with kind of my pet deck, or I guess what I was mostly known for playing, and that's Jund Death Shadow. This deck, this exact list comes from, I can't remember the name of the person, but they won the challenge, the Modern Challenge, on this past Saturday. So, anytime Jund Shadow does well, I kind of got to take a look at it and see if it's the real deal or not. This is kind of the list that I think Ben Jones was mostly advocating for. I don't know if anything is necessarily different from his list. I think maybe the Dark Confidant in the main deck is a little bit different. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of what you see here is kind of what has been popularized over the past, couple of months ever since the banning of Uro, Sanctuary, and Field of the Dead. This list in particular is heavy, not as heavy because I've seen other lists have 4 copies, but Hexdrinker is our other one-drop of choice. You've seen in the past, I've been advocating for Monastery Swiftspear, Knight of the Ebon Legion at points, but today we're going to be going with the Hexdrinker. I don't know. I'm still not a huge fan of Hexdrinker, especially in a format where Lava Dart is one of the more played cards out of, Mono Red, Red White, and Blue Red Prowess, respectively. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Again, I'm not a huge fan of it, but, I wanted to play the list as is before I go ahead and make any changes. But everything else, fairly straightforward here. Not a whole lot of spice that we're looking at as far as the main deck is concerned, except for the 1 Dark Confidant and the 1 Grim Lavamancer. I think those are just concessions for the Esper control matchup, because Esper has been popping up a decent amount recently, so we made a couple of concessions there. And in the sideboard, everything is fairly the same, with the exception of 1 card that I haven't actually gotten to play with yet, because I haven't played this deck since Strixhaven came out, and that's Tend the Pests. So what Tend the Pests is black-green, instant, additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. And you make X 1/1 pests, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. So you can imagine against something like Prowess or an aggressive red deck, where you go a little bit low on life total, your opponent casts a Path to Exile. You can go Tend the Pest, sacrifice your Death Shadow, make 7, 8, 9 1/1s, and that might be good enough. Another thing is against control decks that have, again, Fatal Push, Path to Exile. You can bring this in against control decks to kind of, if they go to cast a removal spell in your Death Shadow, you now get to cast this in response, and it's essentially a must counter, because if they don't counter it, they're probably not going to be able to beat, 7, 8, or 9 1/1s. So it seems like it's a pretty good card in a decent number of matchups, so we're going to go ahead and see how this plays out. Again, a new addition from Strixhaven that I haven't gotten to play with yet. And the rest of the sideboard, Liliana's Triumph for the Prowess matchup. The reason we're playing this over other removal spells is, like, if you compare it to something like Go for the Throat, which is a card that Esper commonly plays to deal with Stormwing Entity. This not only kills Storming Entity, but it also can tag Core Firewalker in the Heliod matchup, whereas your other black and red removal spells couldn't do that. So that's why we're choosing to play Triumph here. It's also, if you randomly get paired against Boggles, you have access to it. K-Return for the aforementioned Heliod matchup. Veil of Summer for other Thoughtseize decks, as well as Esper Control. Obviously, we can't leave home without our Luris. K-Command for grindy matchups, Kroxa for grindy matchups, Tend the Pest we already talked about. Trophy mainly for Tron and Eldrazi Tron, and Soul Guide for the Graveyard decks. So yeah, that is the deck list. Before we continue, I just want to say, if you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the video. And with that, I will see you back in just a little bit for round number 1. Alright, YouTube, we are here for round number 1. Let's see what we got here. Alright, we got some lands, a Thoughtseize, a Goyf, a couple removal spells. About as good as we can ask for. Not quite sure what our opponent's on, but we will find out. I'm going to lead on Blood Crypt, I think, because of Lightning Bolt purposes. Let's see what's going on over here. Dryad, Bolt, Omnath, Wrenn. 17... land, sorcery. I think I'm going to take Wrenn. Yeah. Because we don't care about Bolt and we have Dismember for Dryad anyways. So I think Wrenn makes the most sense to me. They played Foothills. I don't necessarily need to Inquisition here. Let's just play a Goyf. Let's get Overgrown Tomb. The next turn we can maybe Inquisition. If we draw a land, we can Inquisition, slam with the Goyf, play Scourge, and that should be good enough. Not sure what their removal spell suite usually looks like. What's the worst case scenario if I just don't cast a discard spell here? Because I kind of want to just play a Scourge. Then I can just Dismember the Dryad the turn after. The problem with that... Yeah, this was bad. The problem with that line is if I play Scourge and they have a land, I then kind of have to kill the Dryad. No, that's not true, actually. Yeah, this is fine. I don't actually have to kill the Dryad. Might have been better to Inquisition Bolt there, though. So now they go Plains, Dryad, extra land drop. And then if they have a follow-up Omnath fetch land, that could be dicey. Well, I guess what I could do is just attack with both. See if they block. They don't block to have lethal. They are blocking the Goyf. Alright, well then I'll just bolt them. I think I'm going to bolt them anyways. I just leave up Dismember. So this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually, I think this is exactly lethal. So this is 7, 11, and there's no creature or enchantment. So yeah, this should be lethal. It should be exactly 13. Yep. Okay. Never mind. Okay. Game number 2 against Escape Shift, Bring to Light. I really want Triumph. Can I bring in Veil of Summer? Their deck doesn't usually play a lot of counter spells, though, so I'm not a huge fan of Veil. Trophy is something we could consider to kill. Dryad, Omnath, Valakut. I mean, to be honest with you, you probably don't have to do a lot. This matchup does seem pretty favorable. Not really sure how to sideboard. Let me see if I can pull up a recent list and see if I can kind of find out what their exact sideboard looks like. I haven't seen these decks in a while, and I want to see. All right, let's pull up. I know Doomswitch top 8 at the Modern Challenge with it, so let's see what we got going on over here. So his sideboard has 2 Veils, a Celestial Purge, and that's kind of it. 2 Veils and a Purge. No counter spells, just Explorers, Dryads, Kaya's Guiles. Yeah, so no counter spells at all, so Veil's not even that good. I mean, at that point, a lot of these cards don't actually seem... I don't really know if I want any of these cards. I don't want a ton of Fatal Pushes, though. Yeah, it kills Dryad and Omnath, but Maybe what I do is just go -1 push, add the Groxa. That seems good enough for me. I don't really think I want any of these cards. They all seem kind of mediocre. One land Thoughtseize. Sand's kind of close. Because we're on the draw. On the play, I would mulligan 100%. I still think I'm going to mulligan, but... this hand is definitely better. I'm going to ship the third land. Or the Seal of Fire. Let's get rid of the Seal of Fire. I want to keep the third land in case this is a Lurrus game. The issue with playing around Veil of Summer is if I play Hexdrinker, they can just run minus it. There's a good chance they have Veil here, but my alternative being Hexdrinker makes me a little bit worried about red and... Excuse me. Man, I'm all over the place today. Red and 6. So that being said... God, this Hexdrinker getting rend is so bad. Alright, I'm just going to cast Thoughtseize. I'm pretty sure they have Veil, but... guess I could just not cast the Thoughtseize. Purge, Explore, Path. I don't really care about taking a removal spell here. So I'm just going to take Explore. I don't mind them having a bunch of 1-for-1s, because we have 3 threats anyways, so... You could argue to take the Path to Exile so they can't Path our Goyf, but... Honestly, if they Path Goyf, that's not that bad, because that just gets me towards Lurrus faster. So I don't mind that much. Sorcery, land. So our Goyf can't currently get bolted, so let's play Goyf first. I'm a bit stuffed up today. Alright, just gonna Path it. I'm down. Let's get forests. And they drew Valakut for turn last turn, so this is their hand right now. 2 lands, a Purge, 1 unknown. Shadow is a welcome addition. Do I just jam all my threats? I mean, they could have Verdict, but... yeah, let's just play it all. I'm down. Would kind of stink if they had a Kaya's Guile. Although, if they play Kaya's Guile, they have to... oh, no, they drew Helix. Oh, no, they drew Purge. Okay. They had Purge. I thought they drew Helix, because they tapped red-white, and I kind of... Helix would have been bad if they had that, but... because they Helix this, gain 3, the Scourge dies. Still think it was right to make that play, though. I think I'm going to prioritize leveling up Hexdrinker rather than putting Lurrus into my hand, because I don't have anything to get back with Lurrus anyways, and I kind of want to just get this game over with. Also, worth noting, it's kind of awkward when you have Hexdrinker at level 2. You can't TPR it. That's funny. Alright, pass a turn. I leveled fully there, so this way we can level 3 times and TPR the Scourge next turn. That's why I did it that way. But, so we know they have a Misty and 3 unknowns. They have Bring to Light here. I think they have Sweepers in their deck, but... kind of have to imagine it's... no, it's not Bring to Light. Okay. Alrighty. We're going to level 8. I will present lethal damage. So we don't have to act now because this is lethal. So they're the ones who have to act first. Which it looks like they are. So they gain 4. I guess I just sack the Hexdrinker. Or, excuse me, the Scourge. Because they're gaining 4 either way. If I sack this, they gain 4, it's only a 3/3. Then I TBR this. First strike damage would be 3, plus 6 is only 9 damage. So if I sack this, they go to 17, take 6, go to 11, play Hexdrinker, level it once. And then what I can do next turn is I can TBR the Hexdrinker and this one, and then pump it up. Yeah. That may not work, but... Two cards. We don't know either of them. They didn't have Bring to Light last turn. Obviously, they can draw it, but... Cycle Triumph, that's good for us. Steam Vents pass. So now they're at 10. I don't even have to TBR this first. I can just level it up twice. And then we have a lethal attack. Okay. Well, they did not find Bring to Light. Okay. Yeah, that was round number 1 against Bring to Light Scapeshift. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 2. Alrighty, YouTube, back here for round number 2. Almost forgot to hit the record button there. That would have been a disaster. Alright, turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Hexdrinker, and removal spell. Alright, seems fine to me. Our opponent did not really reveal a companion, so we will see what they were playing. Ooh, this matchup. This is why I don't like Hexdrinker. Ben swears by it, though. Debating on getting a basic. God, this is tough. Man, this is tough. It's also a question of, do I cast Thoughtseize or do I kill their Soulscar Mage? Given how bad Stormwing Entity is for me, I think I'm casting Thoughtseize this turn. This is really tough. I guess the one card I care about the most. I don't mind taking, given that I have a Shadow, I don't mind taking 2 or 3 damage from this. Especially because I can just next turn push this plus play a Shadow. Oh, okay. Well, we all know they're going to Metamorphose into Storming Entity. That's how this works, right? I mean, I play Blue-Red Prowess, and I know that that's what you sign up for. You just always have turn 2 Storming Entity. I get it. Yeah, they might save the other Metamorphose if they just hit it now. Alright, they bricked, so they're going to go again. No Stormwing, please. Okay, that's good. And they chose not to attack, which is really smart. The question is... I mean... I can't really afford to not play the Hexdrinker here. Yeah, I know it gets Lava Darted, but I'm going to hold up mana for a removal spell. What I kind of want to happen is take a hit from the Soulscar Mage and kill it end step. Oh. Okay then. I guess they drew a bunch of lands. Did not really expect that to happen. I mean, I'll take it, but... Alright, this is a matchup where I think we want 10 to pass. Triumph is good. Kozilek's Return is bad because most of their creatures have 2 toughness, and a single spell, whether it be a Flashback, Lava Dart, or a Lightning Bolt, gets their creatures out of Kozilek's Return range, so I'm not a huge fan of that. Trophy is not bad because you need to be able to kill Storming Entity, and I believe that is it. We can get these Stink Drinkers out of here. I think I'm going to cut the Lavamancer. Oh, the Confidant is bad too. I think I'm going to cut the Lavamancer, even though it's a little bit decent at kind of helping you go long, It's just kind of... does still have 1 toughness. Basically, the only creatures I want in this matchup are Shadow, Scourge, Goyf, and then everything else to be interaction. With the exception of TBR, because it's kind of hard for them to answer TBR. Although in post-board games, they bring in Vapor Snag. What if I just cut the other TBR? Actually, the Seal of Fire kind of has the same problem as K-Return, right? It's different because you can rebuy it with Luris, but I think given how much removal we're bringing in, I think that's okay. Alright, so I'm assuming our opponent just drew a bunch of lands that game. Just was kind of off it. I know the feeling. Opponent keeps 7. The stand is dicey, but we do have 3 removal spells. We have a redraw with the bauble, and we're on the draw, so we effectively get 3 looks before our second draw step. It's good enough for me. They don't have a 1-drop, which is good. Alright, they opt a card to the top. They're drawing Spire Bluff. It's probably Manamorphose Stormwing, yeah. Even if they have Mutagenic Growth, we have 2 bolts anyways, so Mutagenic wouldn't be the absolute worst for us. I mean, I wouldn't be happy about it because it kind of time locks us, but yeah, they do have it. You also need to find a black source very badly. Man. Just debating if I want to bolt it or dismember it. Either way, both of them gets countered by Mutagenic because Mutagenic makes this a 6/6, so dismember would also still get countered. I'm just trying to think if I don't want to deal myself 1,000,000 damage, potentially. Yeah. Given that they both get blanked by Mutagenic anyways, like... Given that I have no additional lands, I'm probably going to end up having to spend this anyways, but... They went bottom. I mean, we have the other removal spell, so it's not the worst, but we're still not drawing lands. Okay, that we have covered. If we find a black source. Okay, I'm going to bobble now in case I draw another bolt on their turn. I have a Scalding Tarn. That's not good. That's also not good. And we're at 8. So we have to go to 6, kill one of these, go to 5, go to 4, Goyf push next turn. Alright. This is going to be a tough one. We're just dead to a lot of cards. So that puts us to 2. They don't have another spell. Okay. Alright, I'll go to 1 life. Get forests. Dead to half of their deck. If I win this game, there's no way. There's no way I'm winning this game. Actually, wait. I should have played Scourge that turn, right? If I had played Scourge, I would have had lethal with the TBR, right? I didn't think about that. I forgot they dealt themselves damage with the growth. I just in my head I had it that yeah, that was bad. Well, now I deserve to lose. Alright, yeah, I could have won this game if I had just played Scourge last turn. Yeah, I deserve this. Yep, we died. Yeah, because I forgot... I just completely forgot they dealt themselves 2 damage with the growth. Because they were at 14. First strike damage... Oh. Did they not? They didn't find a burn spell in 3 cards? Wow. Never mind, we still won. That's wild. Alright, well, I deserve to lose that game because I should have played Scourge the turn before. But yeah, because they were, I thought they were still at 16. If they were at 16, Scourge would have been a 4-4. Next turn, I TPR the Scourge. First strike, 4 damage, puts them to 12, makes it an 8-8. Then we have an 8-8 regular combat damage when they're at 12. However, because they dealt themselves 2 damage, it's now a 6-6. First strike, 6 damage, puts them to 8, which makes this a 12-12. Regular damage, they take 12. So, I kind of just blanked and forgot they took 2 damage. So I should have played Scourge the turn before. I gave them an extra draw step, which they true iteration, and I should have gotten punished. But yeah, that was the. I don't know, it was a weird match. Opponent just didn't really do all that much game 1. I think they probably got flooded out, and then that game we were at 1 life for 3 turns, and they just bricked off. So. Yeah, anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 3. Alright, guys, we're back here for round number 3 on the draw. This hand's funny. I don't know if it's a keep or not. It's so weird. I've just never seen a Death Shadow hand with 3 basic lands in it. I mean, this hand has lands and spells. Obviously, if it draws, like, Death Shadow, it's pretty bad, but, I mean, we have a removal spell, we have a couple creatures we can maybe cast. I don't know. I think it's keepable. Try it. I'm more curious to just see what happens with this hand. I think in the long run it might end up being supposed to be a mulligan, but Spire Bluff Go could mean Prowess or Breach. I think in any case, I'm still just gonna play Hexdrinker first. Yeah, it sucks if they're Prowess and they have Lava Dart, but even if this gets darted, then we can still just play a Goyf next turn. So. Alright, they're not Prowess because they have basic islands, so probably Breach. This hand's not very good against Breach. Let's deck first. Let's see what they want to do. Probably just take it, hold up Remand. Having a land here sucks because they can just bolt the Goyf. But that being said, I think I still just have to play Goyf. Just bobble them on their upkeep. They didn't remand the Goyf, which is interesting. Put a card on the bottom with opts. Alright, upkeep bubble you. Take a look at what they're drawing. Okay. Alright, well. I think I'm just going to attack with both, fetch, play a Scourge this turn. Now the Goyf's a 3-4. I'm going to lose to Emrakul anyway, so there's no point in not paying 2 life. Leave up. I guess I should have got black-red, but it doesn't matter all that much. But yeah, if they have Breach plus Emrakul, they can go end step, make a treasure, draw 2, discard 2, and then untap, play their 4th land, which they'll have 5 mana to Breach and Emrakul. But, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that anyways, so. If that is their hand, it does not matter what I do. I have no recourse against that. I should have leveled up the Hexdrinker. That was some mistake, but I assume I'm just going to die anyways. Yep. Looks like we're dead. Alright. I mean, this matchup is very, very good, but our hand was just not really doing it. I actually like Liliana's Triumph a good bit, because it stops Breach Emrakul. I like Veil of Summer because they have a lot of counter spells. And I don't hate Soul Guide because they have Snapcaster Mage. I could also see an argument for Kolaghan's Command and Kroxa. Fatal Push is definitely bad. Dismember is bad. Is there anything else I don't like? Not the biggest Seal of Fire fan, but I don't know how much I want these Soul Guides. It's only for Snapcaster Mage. You don't want to dilute your deck too much. You do want to make sure that you're as aggressive as possible. I do like Kroxa quite a bit, though. I think I'm just going to do this. Maybe cut the Grim. The Grim's actually pretty bad for the K command. Yeah, that looks good. Just not bringing the Soul Guides for Snapcaster Mages. You could sell me maybe on one Soul Guide over one Seal of Fire, but it's pretty marginal. I think on the play, I'd rather have the Seal of Fire so I can turn on Scourge more often and also be able to pump Tarmogoyf. Like, I just want to be super aggressive on the play. And I think Seal allows me to do that, whereas Soul Guide only being an answer for Snapcaster Mage is probably just not good enough. Also, these games are almost never about Lurrus. It's just a pure race, so... In a game that's not going to be about Lurrus, I don't really think that Soul Guide has as much utility as it would normally. Can't keep this. Okay, well, this is how you lose a good matchup. I guess this hand is keepable. Back Bolt and... probably Kroxa. Just keep the Inquisition and the 2 threats. Kind of an unfortunate way to lose a matchup like this. They kept this hand? There's no... I don't know. I don't think I would have kept that hand, but... I'm going to take Awakening. Their hand is just really bad. Once I take the Awakening. Like, I guess you can justify the keep only because of Awakening, but... So, Sorcery, Instant... land, so they can't use a single bolt on the Goyf. If they draw Flame Slash, they can kill Goyf, but... Or they can use 2 bolts, which I am okay with, because I have a second Goyf anyways. Deal. That is fine by me. Got more where that came from. Blue-red. Really? I'm not really a huge fan of Iteration in this deck. You have a lot of 3 mana cards, and also it's almost never good with your combo. I mean, I guess you could put a combo piece in your hand and exile a land, but it feels like you're never getting 2 cards out of it. Iteration's only truly good if you have a lot of 2 mana a lot of 1 mana cards, and this deck has not a lot of 1 mana cards. So I'm not a huge Iteration fan in their deck. I have played their deck quite a bit. I really think Iteration is not where they want to be. Alright, TBR? Nope. Snapcaster Mage targeting Lightning Bolt. We know they have a bolt in their hand. So if I bolt them first, if I bolt them now, they won't be able to double bolt the Scourge. But if I let this happen, let them go to blocks, what's their plan? Because I could also just bolt the Snapcaster Mage. But then they just double bolt the Goyf. No, they would double bolt this. Take 4, go to 12. If I let this happen... Maybe they block the Goyf and bolt the Goyf, take 4? But if they do that, I can't bolt them first because then they just get then they double bolt the Scourge in response to my bolt. And the whole point that I'm trying to make here is that I don't want them to kill the Scourge. So I think I should bolt them first. So they can't double bolt the Scourge. So they get to kill the Goyf. I guess they can go block Scourge, double bolt the Goyf, but that's fine. Then they just... That's what they should do, right? Because we know they still have a Bolt in their hand. Why are they blocking Goyf? Just chump block here and double Bolt this. Unless they're trying to Bolt me. Because they can go block Goyf, bolt me, but what's the point of that? I'd rather just block here and double Bolt this. I would assume so. There we go. I figured it out. This is fine. Just play a Goyf. We don't actually have lethal next turn. We only have 11. So we need to find something. A Bolt, a TBR. Alright, they're off it. Game 3, do we want to change anything? I don't think so. Seal of Fire also, if you have Liliana's Triumph and they have a Snapcaster Mage, Seal of Fire, the nice thing about it is you can get to kill the Snapcaster Mage. So you seal the Snap and then you can Triumph their Emrakul when they go to attack with it. So that's another reason I like Seal of Fire. It's, like I said, it's not the most exciting card in the world, but it has its uses. Alright, to game 3 we go. Again, I think this is a very, very favorable matchup. When I was playing the Breach deck, this is the one deck I did not want to play against. Yeah, and this hand is kind of why. This hand is just really, really good. And this was even before Liliana's Triumph was in the mix. Because the Shadow list that I've seen didn't really have Triumph as much. Jeez. Yeah, see, this is why I don't like expressive iteration in their deck. It's just their deck. The deck is too clunky to have iteration. I could take their land, or I could take Opt, or I could take Snapcaster Mage. Given that I have 2 Liliana's Triumphs, I think I'm just going to take the Snapcaster. It's also just intrinsically the best card in their hand. I think it makes the most sense for me to take Snapcaster. And they put a card on top. Okay. Maybe a Remand? Kind of sucks that we can't play a threat. Yeah. That is the awkward part about Scourge in this matchup, is they don't deal themselves a lot of damage. They topped another Opt. Okay. Bottom. The awkward part about this is if we just say go with 3-man open and don't put Lurrus in our hand, they kind of know what's up, you know? But that being said, I mean, go. I could fetch Shock, play a 1/1 Shadow, but we know they have commands, so I don't really want to do that. Ooh, they have Snapcaster Mage. Alright, I'm going to let the Opt go. And then, after the Opt resolves, I'm going to deal 2 to the Snapcaster and make them discard. Now they actually get to use their iteration for good. I'm assuming they'll just discard it. Once they drew an extra land, they'd be able to discard the Steam Vents, but... Okay. They might actually get a 2-for-1 out of this game. Might. I say might. Temple of Epiphany. Value. Alright. 14. So now... 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Now we can play a 3/3 shadow. They could definitely have Bolt here, which would stink. I'm still going to go for it, I think. Because now they're kind of incentivized to just go for the Emrakul. Although it's like so very obvious that we have Triumph. Maybe it's not, though. Because the turn that we said go with 3 mana up and we didn't do anything, we didn't put Luris in our hand, we just played Gulligan's Command. So they don't necessarily... Okay, that was a really good draw. But that doesn't necessarily, like, you know, scream out to them that we have Liliana's Triumph. It could have just meant that we wanted to use our mana on Gulligan's Command, so... And now, if this resolves, we get to attack and play a Scourge and hold up Triumph. I mean, I assume they're going to counter this with some fashion, right? Like Cryptic counter bounce or something like that. I'm not sure. Not quite sure. I have to imagine this is getting countered, though. Vendilion Click. Okay. Targeting who? I'm kind of surprised they brought that in. I mean, I'm going to let it resolve because we have 2 Triumphs anyways. That was a good draw. Madcap, Command, Remand, Snapcaster Mage. I believe I'm taking Snapcaster Mage. I could also just not play the Sealfire here. I'm going to attack first and see what they do. They can't chump block because they know we have Triumph. Yeah, this is good. This is the biggest debate in the world. Because they don't know about this, right? So they kind of just have to go for the Madcap experiment. And then we just get to go seal this Triumph View. And they don't necessarily, you know what I mean? Like, we could just be representing that we want to cast the Triumph here, so... Put a card on the bottom. I mean, there's no way they're not casting the Madcap here, right? Like, they're not winning the game if just by holding up these cards with the click. Like, they can't even attack me because we just have lethal in play. So their play is if they want to hold this stuff up, they just have to pass and chump block with the click, in which case the Madcap is just going to get got by the Triumph anyways. And if they attack, they're dead on board, so they can't do that. So, I mean, I don't really see an option. I'm pretty sure they just have to go for the Madcap. Like, there's just no choice. Yeah. Because, again, if they attack, they're dead on board, so they have to cast this either way. And if they don't attack, then they're still kind of in a bad spot. Alright, see ya. Next. Alright, 3-0. Yeah, that was a good showcase. Again, I do think this is... This deck in particular, popping up recently and doing well, is a big, big reason of why I would want to play Shadow in Modern right now, because I think this matchup is incredibly favorable. So, but yeah, anyways, hope you... excuse me, my voice is going out. Hope you enjoy the games, and I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 4. Back here for round number 4. We are on the draw once more. Playing against Dr. Queller, who I believe is a big Spirits player. This hand's really good, so I'm going to keep it. Turn 1 discard spell, turn 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite a turn 2 shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And no matter which land I play first, but keeping either way. We even get to Bauble Trick ourselves and look for a removal spell, because that's kind of all this hand is missing. I kept 7 and didn't have a Vial. That's good for me. Lightning Bolt on top. I will take that. I'm going to Thoughtseize first in case I draw a second Thoughtseize. Well... Take Company, I guess. Kind of have to take Company. Now I really hope I draw a second Thoughtseize. Jury Blood Crypts. Inquisition U, probably taking Captain. Let's see. Okay. Go. Should have played a fetch land there, maybe? I assume they're not going to play Captain, right? Do they even want to attack me? Kind of hope they do. No, they don't. Makes sense. If I can't bolt now, by the way, because if I bolt now, they get to play the Captain in response. What I could have done was bolt it on their upkeep. But I thought it was better to just wait and not play the bolt. We ended up not drawing a... what you call it? Thoughtseize, so we're probably going to lose this game. Now if they play the Captain, they'll just kill the Captain. On their end step while they're tapped out, so they can't do anything in response. They may not play the Captain here, though. They may wait and just go Company and then try to Captain the turn after. I'm not sure. Let's see what they do. Alright, looks like they are going to play it. And again, I kind of have to kill it while they're tapped out, so... Because otherwise I don't think I'm going to be able to kill it. I mean, they can kind of assume... Ooh, that's good for me that their fourth land was tapped. So it means their last card is likely not a land. What could it be, though? It's Bobble Myself. It's another Shadow. The issue with, like, what I could do, hypothetically, is Peatland draw the Shadow. However, if I do that, I'm not fetch shocking and attacking for 5 this turn. Whereas what I really wanted to do is attack for 5 this turn. I guess if I play Peatland, attack, they can't block because we can tap the Peatland to grow the Shadow in combat. So then we take 2, go to 17, we crack Peatland, play Shadow. I think I like that less than just putting Lurrus in my hand, though, and smacking for 5 this turn. It's close. We also just kind of need to find a removal spell. Worth noting, we have no other fetch lands left. Or no other shock lands, excuse me. So I can't take 2 off of this. Just casting Queller. Did not find a removal spell, which really stinks. Maybe they're just going to go for lethal here. Try and find Double Lord. Makes sense. Yeah, only... I mean, obviously we drew 7 lands this game, but only finding 1 removal spell. This matchup is quite favorable, but we only drew 1 removal spell, and our deck has, like, 10 of them, so... Drew a few too many lands and not enough removal. Because I assume we're going to lose this game. Okay. Interesting. They drew another Queller? It's got to be what that is, right? Let's see if we can bait them. Hope they Queller this. The only way I can win this game is if they cast Company now, Queller this, don't hit Skyclave, and then TBR kills them. It's the only way I can win this game. So that's why I just untap Slam the Lurrus as quickly as possible to try and, like, make it seem like this is my only good card. Try and bait them a little bit. No, I didn't fall for it. Played the wrong land. Should have played Peat land there. Probably going to cost me too, actually. Unless they had the spell caller anyways, but... Alright, we died. Almost got them, almost baited them. They tapped that mana. They almost baited them. I just want max removal, trophy, triumph, K return. K command is good too, I think, because they play Aether Vial. What's bad against them? I'm not in love with TBR. You can kind of just become the control deck in this matchup. Because your creatures are just better than theirs for the most part, and you have more removal. Everything else is pretty good. Bob is... I mean, they can't really kill Bob, right? I don't know. All my cards are really good. That's why this matchup is so good. Maybe Hexdrinker's not great. The biggest problem with Hexdrinker is against Skyclave Apparition. Because level... Like, you can spend 5 mana on a Hexdrinker and it still just dies to Skyclave. Which wouldn't normally be that bad, you know, whatever. The card, it dies to removal, I get that. But you have to spend a lot of mana, and the Skyclave also gives them a 2-for-1. So it's like doubly bad, and also not great if we're bringing K-Return. Which, now that I think about it, K-Return might not be that good. It's decent if they don't have a Lord, but it doesn't kill the 1/3 Lord. Maybe I just don't want K-Return. I probably don't need it. Again, I think this matchup is just really, really good. Seize Bob, 5 lands, huh? Don't love this hand. Alright, well. Ways to lose a good matchup, 101. 5. Back Basic Mountain, and probably Colligan's Command. Yeah. Whenever you lose to Spirit, something radical has to happen like this. I think the matchup again. Quite good. It is what it is. Alright, Luris, go. I'm at 9. I'm just casting a Rattle Chains here. Yep. It's always really frustrating losing to Spirits. Oops. Cast the Queller. Do it. You won't. If they do play the Queller, then I just get to kill it, so that's kind of why I'm doing this. I think it ends up working out moderately well for me. It's worse if they have a Skyclave Apparition, but, you know. I'm going by the information I know on their hand. That's kind of why I made that play. It's good against the card that I knew about, is kind of what I was getting at. Because they Queller, I get a good exchange there with the Fatal Push. Still have another removal spell in my hand. Combat Step. We still have 2 removal spells. Okay. so we let that go. Guess I have to kill the Skyclave, get a 3/3. I mean, I'm probably not winning this game now, but man, it's really, really unfortunate. Alright, we're dead. Yeah, that's ways to lose a good matchup 101. Draw a lot of lands in both games. Well, I mulled the 5 game too. Yeah, that was a little frustrating, but oh well. Hope you enjoyed the games. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 5. Alright, everybody, we're back here for the 5th and final round of our league with Jund, Death, Shadow. We are on the play, and we have no lands. So we'll take a mulligan. This hand is reasonable. Some discard spells into Shadow. Put back the mountain. I'm going to lead on Bauble myself. Yeah, I mean, I could Bauble them because I don't necessarily know what I'm looking for with the Bauble. I mean, I'd like to find a Goyf or a Thoughtseize. I guess I'll Bauble myself. Scourge of the Skyclaves. I guess that's a card I don't really want. Unless they're dealing themselves damage. It could be bad to shuffle this away, but... Tron, huh? The bane of my existence. I think it's better to take the star, because I can just discard the scrying next turn. Whereas if I discard the scrying, they get to play the star, and then they get another look at it. They get actually 2 more looks at the scrying the turn after. Did your Ancient Stirrings. I think I'm still taking scrying. But it's going to be a tough game because we don't have any... We need to find a fetch land. A fetch land to put these shadows into play would be nice. Yeah, I guess Goyf will do for now. It's not great, but... Stone Cold Dead to a tower. Map's also not great. Okay. Guess we get maybe one more draw step at a Thoughtseize. I guess I should have played a Shadow to deal them one more point of damage and grow the Goyf a little bit there. Because I know the Shadow would have died, but it would have put a creature type in the graveyard. Creature in the graveyard for Tarmogoyf purposes. And given that I have 3 shadows that I can't really utilize anyways, I think it might have been worth it there. I mean, honestly, even if we draw a Thoughtseize at this point, they just get to... Yeah, we can't win this game. Yep. Alright, next game. Tron is a very bad matchup. Got 2 trophies. K-Command. We have 5 cards we want to get out. And not a lot we want to bring in. So, yeah, this sideboard is not prepared for Tron. I guess we can bring in 10 the Pests? 10 the Pest could theoretically be okay. If they go to Blast Zone to Shadow, we can sack the Shadow in response. Yeah, I mean, nothing else looks remotely playable, so... Alright, 110 the Pest it is. This matchup is tough. 2 trophies and a Shadow. How quickly can we play the Shadow? 2, 3, 4, 5. Play Peatland on 1. Tap it. 19, 18, 16, 13, 12. So we can play Shadow on turn 3 with 2 trophies to break up Tron. I don't know if this hand is good. I want to try it. I feel like this hand is not actually good, but it's close. Oops. Well, I meant to play the Peatland, but for some reason Magic Online decided to move my hand over. because they do that with companions. So I was supposed to play the Peatland there so I could basically tap it 3 times before turn 3. But now the math is I can't actually play Shadow on 3. Alright, well, I drew a Thoughtseize, so that helps. I'm just going to fight over Tron, I think. I don't normally like fighting over Tron, but because I have multiple trophies, I think it's okay. Yeah. Tank, power plant. Alright, mine, star. I need to get... I guess I can just get Stomping Ground, right? 13, 12, yeah. So we go Peatland, black, shadow, pass. I guess passing and doing this draw step is worse because they could go sack this, crack a green, Veil of Summer. So maybe I'm supposed to main phase this. Yeah, honestly, waiting is kind of stupid. They play enough basics where it's so unlikely that they'll draw their one basic. You know what I mean? They usually play 4 basics. So waiting is almost just irrelevant. Dismember. Well, that's bad. Because now I don't have a threat. Okay. Now about All's Dust Ugin. Jesus. We may have to just gamble a little bit. I'm trying to think how I can win this game. Because I was going to say just like take their Ugin, hope they brick on a threat, and put Shadow or put Lurrus in my hand. But the problem with that is next turn if I go Lurrus Shadow, I'm also not casting Trophy, so I have to wait 2 turns. So it still doesn't actually get me anywhere. I mean, what I could do is take Ugin. Take Ugin, put Lurrus in hand. They untap. They tap Mine Forest, sack map, get Power Plant, play Power Plant, play Golos. Their hand is All Is Dust, Tower, Unknown. Then the turn after, I can't play Lurrus, because if I play Lurrus Shadow, they just All Is Dust me. So then I have to trophy the Power Plant the turn after that. And then I guess the turn after that, I can play Lurrus Shadow. I don't know. It's bad either way. I'm going to take Ugin. I think I'm just dead this game no matter what, but... I'll take a draw step or 2. And losing to a bad matchup is whatever, you know. It's not like losing to Spirits or something. Power Plant. Go loose. Right. All right, we're gonna pack that one in. Yeah, losing to a bad matchup. It is what it is. It's kind of partly why I stopped playing Shadow is because there was an increase in Tron and Heliod, both of those matchups are not very good for Shadow. So If you play against a lot of Izzet decks, like Prowess and Breach, I think Shadow's in a good spot, but if you do run into the Tron and Heliods of the world, it's going to be rough. So, you can tune your sideboard to be better against Tron, but you have to sacrifice a lot in so many other matchups that I just don't think it's worth it. And Tron not only is a small metagame share, it also has a decently high fail rate because Tron is just Tron. So, overall, I don't think I would worry about it too much. But yeah, thank you again for watching the video. I appreciate it. If you made it to the end, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.